Good morning, every pony. Welcome back to Everfree Northwest 2022 Continentals 2022. We are in the finals here. I'm Ivory Starlight, not screaming into the void, and I have two people with me today.
I'm eminently sensible.
And Danamoy.
We appreciate you guys being here to do commentary.
And we appreciate watching some good matches. We were also here yesterday and enjoyed it quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, let's go ahead and, without further ado, just jump right into the feed from the tournament floor. For those who didn't get a chance to catch the late night matches yesterday, we have Big Cheese running Skystar, orange, white, purple, blue, I think are all the colors in the deck.
Yes,
Chaos,
everything but yellow.
yep, Chaos Control. And then we have Istagram running Stunning Wonder, yellow, blue aggro. Had a great showing, especially when it came to shoe shines yesterday.
Yeah, Instagram is the one where we've seen more of him in this top cut so far on stream. We saw his semifinal match, which was also against another yellow-blue. So that was a very high power match with a lot of similar cards in both, a lot of going really fast, playing a lot of shoe shines, doing a lot of 5+ point turns.
Yeah. We'll have the feed from the floor up here momentarily.
Yeah, this is okay.
There we go.
Sideboards have been made. Hands are being considered for Mulligan.
Yeah.
I do want to say this is a little off topic, but this game can go to a sudden death if the folks end up tied at the hard time limit of 2 hours. And considering that Big Cheese plays Skystar and Instagram has a two-size starting problem, sudden death almost literally must go to whoever goes first.
Two for loyal pawn.
So it will be basically a die roll to determine the outcome of the tournament if they get there.
Pass turn.
Seeing a finals decided by a die roll would be really funny, but really unfortunate for the people playing.
Yeah. So let's hope that that doesn't actually happen. It's very, very uncommon to see something like that.
Early Pinky Sense and calling orange.
Yes, Pinky Sense to use Fire of Friendship is very nice. It's free entry, which is better than you usually get. And you've still got Pinky Sense out, which is a huge part of Big Cheese's deck since it's chaotic control.
Yeah.
And we have a problem face-off.
A multi-problem face-off, specifically.
There is a bonus point in it. We actually didn't see that much in the aggro versus aggro matches. Everybody likes to start on 0-point starters, but Big Cheese actually bringing the 1 point there.
And Fluttershy activates.
It is interesting that he chose to go for the DFO there, because that, like Bugle pointed out in chat, that flipped Istagran's main for him.
Okay, my turn.
Yeah, it would have probably taken Instagram more than this one turn in order for him to do a double. So this is just a much faster start than Cheese could have gone for. I know some people do like to try to lock down the Stunning Wonder early and just prevent that flip, but it's really hard based on Instagram's starting problem of a 2-2. And Big Cheese, even though we call him control, he doesn't play a single troublemaker. So if Big Cheese just sat around and tried to prevent Instagram from flipping, Instagram would still be able to confront that problem every turn without even trying, really. So I understand the decision, but it will speed this up.
Looks like,
Yeah.
Looks like Instagram is 4 AT.
Yeah, looks like he might not have a huge amount of additional yellow entry, which is probably what he wants to play those bunyips that are in his hand.
Well, he just got a makeover, which he could use on Loyal Pony, or Loyal Pony, and play the Bunyip.
Makeover into yellow would be quite interesting here, but yeah, certainly makes sense.
The question is, how much does he value the bunyip points here?
Yeah, it's not really a rush because you know at some point in the course of this game he's going to get those bunyip points. It's not like if he doesn't do it now, he's at risk of them not happening.
Absolutely.
Looks like he opts to go rush makeover blue on his main.
Not sure what's in his hand, but knowing it's blue-yellow, it's going to be good.
Well, we already have one shoe shine down, so history shows.
Yeah, shoe shine is really good. It is early enough that the shoe shine itself is not doing much besides offering a little bit of entry. But in 1 or 2 turns, if Cheese is not able to respond to the shoe shine, it could be a huge problem. So Cheese, I would guess he wants a Staff of Sikanas here. If he can have that, then he has a good chance of shutting down that shoe shine right now. Also, of course, something like Belly Flop would work.
Yeah. Now, interesting to note, Instagram is not. He was confronting last turn, but now that Rush Makeover is no longer in effect, he is not confronting that surprise takeoff anymore. So he will need to play or get additional blue power there in order for him to continue confronting that.
That's a good point. I didn't even notice that, and we'll see if Instagram gets tripped up by that because it's a good catch.
He has the bulk and Fluttershy in hand, but it looks like he might be thinking about. I wonder if that's a rocket scooter.
Well, he has turned on shoe shine, so Big Cheese has to have a belly flop here. The Chaos Magic Blast will do. It's very unlikely to actually hit shoe shine now. So hopefully Big Cheese didn't play anything last turn because he's just holding on to a belly flop. If not, things are going to start getting challenging.
He looks like he banked last turn, so if he's gonna use that belly flop, this might be a time to do it, or Chaos Magic Blast, one of the two. Oh, I forgot Melted exists.
Melted is good here. You can turn off the bunyip and exhaust the shoe shine. That is enough to prevent both confronts for now, which is pretty solid.
Although, can Rocket Scooter eat itself and maybe continue the confront?
Yes.
It
That's
can,
a bit
yeah.
expensive. It would only be for 1 point here, which is maybe worth it, maybe not. But it certainly is an option. Oh, he actually went to exhaust Stunning Wonder. Since Shoeshine has her ability, I think, then... Well, maybe he took away Shoeshine's ability instead of Bunyip. I thought I heard Bunyip, but I may be wrong.
He was probably considering Bunyip, but maybe ultimately decided on Shoeshine. Looks like Instagram opted to just proceed, and now we are back to Cheese.
Bugle correcting the record and that Chaos Magic Blast would have worked there. I thought the tokens would get in the way, but no, they cost 0, whereas Shoeshine costs 1. Now, Bunyip also costs 1, so it would have been 50-50 here, but that's still a lot better.
So will Big Mac Big Eater eat the scooter, or is that undesired behavior?
That would be very bad.
Thankfully, a Big Mac is optional. Or does Eminently think that that should be mandatory as well?
Big Mac
No,
also lets
because
you. Big Mac also lets you eat your own resources.
exactly. If that was required, Big Mac would be a big problem.
I mean, all those chaos effects that you want mandatory are big problems.
Chaos is in the name. I need a little non-desired outcomes with my chaos effects. But Big Mac, I would like him to only eat when I ask him to eat. I can control Big Mac. I can't control Discord.
Not with that attitude, you can't.
2 for loyal
So
pony.
Cheese is kind of just in a holding pattern here. I mean, he spent almost his whole turn's worth of actions just stalling out a couple of points for Instagram, but not actually preventing Instagram's board state from improving. And at this point, yeah, Instagram has enough actions to really go all in here, which is valuable because he can just activate those bunyips and then eat them up with shoe shine at the end of the turn.
Yeah, now the danger here is it's entirely possible Cheese is just holding out and hoping that he uses as much of that Instagram uses as much of his resources as possible, only to then drop a Wrath of Gilda.
I do agree, and typically, if you're up against a deck that plays board wipes, you want to be a little careful about your entry cards. So Instagram playing that extra loyal pony to move things up might be a big problem.
So I do not confront here.
Nope.
But I still confront.
You confront there, but you can't use Trigon.
Right.
Yep.
So confront.
Mhm.
So in this case,
And
it does depend on how the timing worked there, if Big Cheese did that in a confront step or not. But Instagram certainly could have had the option to use Rocket Scooter there to do the double anyway. Now, if he tried to confront his problem first, then the timing doesn't work, and so Big Cheese would be able to stop the DFO. But if he had tried to confront Cheese's problem, which I forget what it's called, the chaotic one, I think, then I think he would have been able to use Rocket Scooter and do the double face-off here.
He's probably holding out to hopefully get some of those bunyip points.
Yeah, having both of your bunyips go home without being able to frighten themselves would be kind of a bummer.
And I think Rocket Scooter gives the most value when you retire it at the or dismiss it at the end of your turn when home limits and shoe shine things are happening.
There's certainly value, but since the shoe shine can eat up the tokens at any time, it's not so much worse if they're at home versus at a problem. So typically, if you only have Rocket Scooter, yeah, you want to use the Pegasi, and then once they come home, you eat them with the Rocket Scooter, and then make new Pegasi at the problems. But since we've got Shoeshine here, the location of those tokens becomes less important, because we can always just eat them to move Shoeshine.
Moves a swift Pegasus token.
So thinking about the board wipe theory here, next turn, assuming Cheese doesn't play a trick, he will be able to buy a Wrath of Gilda. But even with a trick, he may be able to afford it.
yes. Or 3.
Now we have all three bunyips in play. If I'm Cheese, I'm definitely really trying to get that board wipe out sooner rather than later now.
Yeah, Cheese has used 2 Melted Expectations, which is pretty much the best way to shut off, you know, these big double confront choices. Like, Instagram just has so many options to guarantee this double confront. Melted Expectations can hit 2 different things, whereas, you know, what Cheese just was able to play, the Chaos Magic Blast, is possible it doesn't hit anything of value. Like, I mean, hitting a bunyip is okay, but hitting the shoe shine is so much more important here to actually prevent
Oh, cost.
things getting out of control.
Now, Big Cheese also had a belly flop, but chose to use the Chaos Magic Blast.
Okay, well, he may use
Okay.
both.
I think he uses the Chaos Magic Blast when it's the cost he's after is more defined.
Yeah, the Chaos Magic Blast was gonna hit one of the 3 bunyips or Shoe Shine, and it looks like it hit Shoe Shine. So now the question is, does he play the belly flop?
Belly flop.
It looks like he is gonna go ahead and do it.
He shall.
So the question is, can the belly flop actually prevent the double? I doubt it, due to Rocket Scooter.
I don't think he can prevent the DFO here. His best bet is to get one less bunyip.
What I will say for sure is that this, if Cheese was hoping to do a board wipe, this is a lot worse of an outcome for him because he's paying to get rid of specific characters. And so, you know, Istagram's board state is just going to be a lot worse by the time that Wrath of Gilda comes out, so he'll lose less value because of it.
Belly flops the blue.
Yeah, he hit one of the loyal ponies at his problem, so now Instagram would have to use the Rocket Scooter in order to DFO, which, given the amount of bunyip points he's about to get, he may not actually care too much about that cost.
1 frightened bunyip.
Mhm.
For 1.
All right. Does he go for the scooter? I could see it going either way here. This isn't really a bad situation for him. Yeah, okay, so he's keeping it. Like, he can double again next turn, and he's got these bunyips here. Cheese has not really put the screws on Instagram just yet, so I do understand Instagram choosing, hey, I don't actually need to double yet. I can just sit on this board state and double next turn.
So we got a staff, and it's gonna be a face-off against the unfrightened bunyip.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That actually, you know, does make not doubling a little more of a bummer because you would have been able to use the bunyip, and now, at this point, the bunyip is very likely to be going away. Oh, no.
Okay.
Interesting. So Skystar being booted out of the face-off, bunyip will not be frightened.
Very neat. So, I mean, it's not the biggest deal. Instagram basically saved 1 action. He spent 1 action instead of unfrightening for 2. But it's very cool to see because Terrified Scream just doesn't see much play.
I think,
so it's a good use.
Yeah, I think that people have underestimated Terrified Scream, including myself, and it definitely is going to see a lot more play going forward, I would think.
Out of AT, so.
Yeah, if we keep seeing yellow in the same meta as Farm, Terrified Scream is a very good choice.
So did Cheese get 2 bonus there?
He did. Cheese did win that face-off.
And I get an action token and draw a card.
That's
Ooh.
a bummer.
Final question. And
Okay.
Cheese is out of AT, so
Okay.
that is...
Turn.
That's
Definitely.
really good.
Yeah, you just go for that. Like, no matter what
4
it
action
costs,
tokens.
you have to go for that here.
Yeah, Instagram
Draw.
probably can double, but, you know, much more importantly, he can hit that final question. And, yeah, the fact that he's been in just this pretty good board state that Big Cheese has not been able to get him out of, it's forcing Big Cheese to work harder and spend more actions and use all of his tricks so that when the big problem actually comes out, Big Cheese is out of tricks. This is really a good situation for Instagram, who's already at about the same number of points as Cheese. It's somewhere around 6 to 7, maybe. I know Bugle's keeping track in the comments for us.
Yeah, Cheese is currently at 7. Instagram is at 6, but he, with that final question being there, it's not gonna stay 7 to 6 for very long.
Exactly. The fact that they're close in score at the beginning of this turn is bad news for Cheese, because they're not going to be close in score by the end.
Another token swift move. And
Now that's
Big
Oh,
Cheese
this
gets
is a
2
big
AT
risk.
from the dilemma.
well, he doesn't. So his AT becomes 2, and he doesn't gain 2. So he technically should only be at 2 AT instead of 3.
No. After getting the 2 AT,
Oh
he gets
wait,
the trigger
he's
from Fluttershy.
no.
Oh,
You're right. I goofed. I forgot that he was running Stunning Wonder. I'm so used to seeing Thorax now.
For featherweight.
So, because Stunning Wonder works so well with that dilemma, I understand the decision, but that opens Instagram up for so much potential pain if Big Cheese had an event that he just couldn't afford. Now, Big Cheese has been running through his events like it was going out of style, so he might just not have any on him.
9.
But if he does, this could be a catastrophe. Okay, he didn't. That's good.
That ends my turn.
It looks like he opts to save the last AT.
so did he get the 2 points for final question?
He did. So the score is now 9 to 7 with Instagram being ahead. I wonder if he's perfectly content with the way his board is. He just doesn't see any value in switching the problems out.
Yeah, it's kind of that same thing of like, hey, I have a million cards out. You can't really throw me off of these problems.
Here comes Spike and Gabby.
Yeah, that's the issue, is that he's opening himself up for a single. So like, he's still in a good board position, but last turn, Big Cheese won the single that he started, and this is another single for 2 points. So it's just kind of a risk.
Flipping 2. Keeping the 4.
Happy Trees is in discard.
So you're at 5 total, and I am
Now,
at 10.
I wonder if Instagram is going to consider that he could, at the start of the score phase,
Scream again.
choose to just rocket scooter to where he's no longer confronting final question.
Go to score phase.
It's the Terrified Scream.
Flip.
Ivory, I think that's a great idea here because Cheese is gonna take 2 points again.
I think I win the face.
And
Yes.
this seems like a big problem. So once again, Instagram used the Scream to defend the Bunyip. But
Yeah, and it looks like he did.
in doing so, gave his opponent 2 points. If he had held on to that Terrified Scream for the face-off, it would have been a 4-point swing, him getting 2 instead of Cheese. So at that point, when Cheese's intentions were already telegraphed, when he was already at the problem, I feel like he should have held on to the
I'm
Scream.
gonna eat my resource at the end of turn,
Okay.
just in case it matters.
Big Mac eats the fire of friendship.
Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. Still at
Yep,
4.
once it's no longer valuable enough, that 1 extra power on Mac can sometimes come in handy, and Cheese doesn't have that many friends, so I could understand it.
At this point, I don't know that Cheese wants to play Wrath of Gilda.
At this point, it's a lot. He's kind of in a difficult situation here because he doesn't want to lose his friends, but he also wants to get rid of all of Instagram's friends. So it's like Nightmare Moon villain back in the day. Yeah, it hurts me, but it hurts my opponent more. But is that worth it?
Yeah, at this point, like, Instagram's friends are still giving more value, but not that much more value than Cheese's. So if she's had a Wrath of Gilda, it would probably need to wait until like a Philly Racers or a Shoe Shine come out.
Looks like we got a Vapor Trail coming out, which means that we're definitely gonna see probably some dilemma movements. And there's the second rocket scooter, which that's definitely gonna give him some additional power there.
Yeah, certainly enough to get this double. He could probably even get a triple if he wanted.
Kind of funny that you have Vapor Trail, but you don't have anyone at the dilemma.
Front.
Not yet, but those two rocket scooters in play, I expect that he's gonna sack one of them.
Yeah, you could just use a rocket scooter here to put 6 strength at the dilemma if you like.
Did I advance the state? Can I?
I don't know, Judge.
As-
It looks like there's
Asking-
a question.
Sure.
He's asking if he went to the next confront step or before the bunyip, and it looks like he did.
The problem
Oh.
is he said face off, which pushes beyond the last confront step. It's unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world for him because he is still in a really good spot. He's gonna need to do some rocket scootering, otherwise he's about to lose a lot to home limit.
Right, yeah, certainly rocket scooter here is good. So that final question's coming out here is not
Home limit, yeah.
great.
Homewood.
Cheese can easily just single confront it
Get rid of
um,
the staff.
because he has a 6 strength Skystar.
He does, but maybe Rocket Scooter will go out to get rid of that staff.
To get rid of
Yep,
He
well,
actually
And it already
he
has.
actually does not
Yeah.
have the staff.
Let's see.
Yep, just
Now-
tearing up Cheese's board is a pretty good call here. At this point, Cheese is going to have to use almost his whole turn just confronting final question because he's going to have to move Skystar and Big Mac or otherwise do something equally expensive. And so he's not going to be able to progress his board state very much.
If Instagram has a unsatisfactory work in his hand, he might actually still be able to prevent this.
Okay.
Yeah, the momentum is still definitely in Instagram's side, and we haven't seen any unsatisfactory works come out yet, and he's drawn a lot of cards.
Let's draw a card.
I'm a little surprised he retired Pipsqueak to home limit, but on the other hand, the bunyip is not frightened. There's no staff, and bunyip has swift, so I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, and the Pegasus token is also, quite good being swift and blue. So I would think, maybe you keep the Pipsqueak or the featherweight instead of the Pegasus token, but I think I agree with the final call there. The one eager draw would be good, but there's probably only one more turn left in this game. And Instagram hopefully has plenty of cards at this point.
Looks like he did not have the unsatisfactory work in his hand. She's did confront that final question, so he won't be able to close it out this turn unless
Yeah.
he can DFO.
I mean,
which
that's the thing. DFO shouldn't be hard with that shoe shine that he's showing in hand.
Buckball strategy or championship. Moving.
Oh, Buckball is going to definitely be enough point acceleration, and he has Vapor Trail, so, this is just so good.
Vapor Trail is so satisfying when you see her do work.
He just drew that unsatisfactory work, so, I mean, it's a little too late, but if something catastrophic happens and he fails to win this turn, he does at least have a backup in that unset.
Fluttershy bulk. One to move bunyip. Go to score phase.
Okay.
I'm a bit surprised with not playing the shoe shine.
That would be game.
That
Okay.
still gives him enough to go to
And that's 15.
Is- Yep.
Oh,
Instagram-
he was at 13. Yeah, it didn't matter at all.
yeah, Instagram will take game one.
I also made a huge mistake by not putting Discord in the Discord pile earlier because I had Tender Taps for the entire game.
So we definitely saw a much faster aggro strategy from Cheese there.
Yeah.
I don't think we saw the Chaos Control deck go that fast before.
Yeah, so he ended up. So what happened there was that Instagram got to this point where he was like, hey, I have all my friends at problems. I have all these bunyips. I'm not in a rush. I'm just going to score 1,000,000 points every turn, and I don't need to double. And so Cheese had to come up to the problems and push Instagram off. He had to keep moving up, trying to use, staff mostly. And that did score him a lot of points because he was able to win those face-offs, but it also took like all of his actions, and he wasn't able to do stuff like Wrath of Gilda or set up a really big Chaos Control infrastructure. And in a match where both groups are just kind of running and trying to score points from bonuses and problems, that's gonna favor Stunning Wonder Blue up against a control deck.
If you have a belly flop and you can hit Vapor Trail, sometimes you can stop 2 confronts with that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because Vapor Trail is giving a buff at a problem other than where she is. Yeah, so I think part of the issue with why that late game just turned out to be so disastrously bad for Cheese was because he didn't have almost any tricks, right? Like, Instagram was mostly able to do whatever he wanted on his turn. I mean, that does kind of come down to the fact that I think Big Cheese used like 3 or 4 immediate events in the early game. And then what ended up happening, at least by my reckoning, is he didn't get a Flurry Heart out. And so he didn't get to draw into any more tricks because, the Flurry Heart and the Spike and Gabbies are the main draw tech of that Chaotic Control strategy. And so he was just drawing the 1 card a turn, and those never ended up finding the tricks that he needed.
Yeah, but even given the amount of tricks that he did find, it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, I do feel like, considering the fact that we know that he didn't draw any additional ones, he definitely used the tricks that he had too early, and maybe he should have let Instagram score more points later on. This is one of those really hard matches for Cheese to win, where Instagram starts at 14 points.
That's real sudden death right there.
Yeah.
Maybe those should be the sudden death rules. The players just start at 14 points but only gain 2 AT.
Yeah, I mean, it's functionally the same thing. I have a feeling that when Instagram confronts here on this first turn that he's going to lose 13 points. It's going to be a disastrous play.
So don't confront.
Score phase. Confront for 1.
Okay.
Har har.
All right, we are back. Really, this is the type of situation that we've seen every time, and that just underlines the fact that these decks are built around a very consistent start. Instagram playing the 2-for-2 problem is just a way to make sure that he's always scoring points every turn of the game.
Big Cheese got a Happy Trees.
Ooh, that's a good draw. We didn't see really any Happy Trees happening in the last game, and it can be really, really game warping when it comes out.
Bugle points out in chat that Instagram, if Instagram loses this game, in game 3 he'll go first, which puts him at the advantage there because of how fast his deck wants to go.
Yeah, he gets 2 chances here, and the second time around he'll go first. So absolutely winning that first match is going to be really useful.
Belly flop.
Okay.
Belly flop after rushed makeovering into yellow on that Pegasus friend whose name I can't remember.
2 for featherweight.
Big bummer. However, so that still only costs 1 because of the floating discount. He didn't need to pay 2 there. Right, he had a discount on yellow.
That is true,
Yeah.
which I think he's currently checking right now. I don't know if that can be reversed or not.
I mean, he paid the wrong amount. We should restore that game state.
Okay, end turn.
Unless the
4.
discount is optional, which seems surprising.
No, that is. Oh no, it is optional. Interesting.
Move up.
Oh, that's
So, yeah.
cruel.
Well,
Um,
I did not know that was optional. I guess always check for the you mays.
Reaction tokens.
Yeah, so I mean, what happened there is that Instagram got put in a situation he desperately didn't want to be in. He was planning to play something else. He lost all of his entry
Oh, he got
in
another.
both colors at the same time.
He got another makeover though.
Yeah, that is good.
For rest
So
of
it's
the-
understandable for him to miss that discount when everything changed all at once there. All right, no belly flop this time.
Two,
He's got into blue there.
One thing to say about Big Cheese belly flopping in the last turn is it's really good for Cheese in that he hits all that entry and he throws Instagram off his momentum. But then Big Cheese had to move up Skystar because he was actually using that seashell to confront.
Mhm.
So it's not all sunshine and rainbows for Cheese here.
Instagram was just very lucky to get that additional makeover.
Yeah, having the entry there is good, and now he's got a blue friend. If Cheese can get rid of that Vapor Trail now, it would be really good.
Oh,
Which actually
Is this
does
Wrath
make
of
me-
Gilda?
3 more.
maybe Flurry?
Ah, Flurry Heart.
Looks like it's going to be Flurry Heart.
There is a Wrath of Gilda in Cheese's hand.
Face off.
And Bugle is correct. The score is currently 3-3.
Do I want to put it on top? No. Okay, I'm winning the face off.
okay.
Put the card in hand.
And that'll put a missed main into Cheese's hand from the Flurry Heart face-off.
Yes.
Which would certainly be good later in the game, but is not going to be relevant for a while, I figure. He doesn't even have white.
Oh,
And we have a double confront and Fluttershy boosts.
Yep.
yeah, you,
Currently winning.
That face-off will go to Cheese, but that'll give Instagram an AT, a card, and a new problem, which may be Final Question.
Yep, the more chances to see Final Question in the game, the better.
It's a distracted lead actress, which is still a fine problem, especially given that problem's history of people screwing it up.
Well, especially considering that the most likely way for Cheese to confront most of the time is with a Skystar who has Staff of Sakanas. That just doesn't work there. So that's, pretty nice.
Yeah, we are.
For what it's worth, Belly Flop is the only one-cost immediate trick that Big Cheese has aside from the Chaos Shenanigans.
Yeah,
which
and
cost even less.
He's used one already, so.
corralling
But with
critters,
all those dilemmas in hand, yeah, with Vapor Trail and dilemmas, gotta play at least one, I think.
Fluttershy moves up
Yeah.
and pay one for.
Yeah, with Vapor Trail,
Oh.
it just becomes very easy to work with the dilemmas.
Big Cheese does get the one discount on his first event during face-offs, though.
That is true. The
I think it
question-
has to be a double.
Critter
Yeah,
here,
so the corralling critters,
here.
that'll be enough to confront the corralling critters. Will he play the second Vapor Trail in his hand and go for the multi-problem face-off that way? Or will he opt for the slightly cheaper but less satisfying emotionally route of just moving the Vapor Trail up?
For
Well, since he has more dilemmas in hand, playing that Vapor Trail wouldn't be bad for sure. Oh, he also has a Scooter. Scooter is pretty good here. That
Yeah.
also lets him, proactively respond to any Staff of Sukanos that hasn't yet come out.
Yeah, and we got so it looks like we got Rocket Scooter. That will be
Well,
not quite
it's not
enough.
enough yellow, yeah.
Confront?
Nope, that is not a confront. There is one less yellow needed there. If we could get
Sure.
Yeah, let's not flip, hopefully.
Stop! Stop the music!
Yeah, I mean, if they can catch it before the problems rotate.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, there's Vapor Trail is providing power.
Yeah, but not the yellow over here.
Oh, you don't have the yellow.
I don't.
Okay. How many other face-offs?
I mean, top cards back to the top of the deck. I think that's what they did before.
A few, yeah.
Yeah, 2. No, 3.
And the card I flipped is pretty relevant.
Okay.
Judge will have to determine the best course of correction here.
Yeah, it always is hard when one player makes a game state mistake, but then the other player doesn't catch it. It's not like
And
one
suffers
person is
for
in
it.
the wrong here. Yeah.
Yeah. The problem here is enough cards were flipped that so the resolution that was decided on is the point will be taken back. Both players will shuffle their deck, and they will proceed with the remainder of Istagram's turn.
Pretty reasonable. However, so earlier in the comments, Bugle pointed out that Mistmane. So Cheese only has 2 Mistmanes, and Mistmane got flipped to the bottom.
I was just
Now
thinking that.
Mistmane is no longer on the bottom, so Cheese can much quicker find the second one. Once again, I kind of wonder if it's even relevant. It's not like Big Cheese ever had, 6 spare actions in the last game to actually, start doing a Mistmane chain. But, it could happen, especially if this game goes a lot longer.
Yeah. There's not really a perfect ideal way of fixing situations like this. You kind of just have to, in a judge position, you have to take what is most fair for both players.
Yeah, and for sure this is quite fair and quite similar to how the game state was before. It's really just remarkably unlikely for that shuffle to change the outcome of this game.
There is no face-off that has taken place. There's been a single confront at Corralling Critters, and we're still in Jeffrey's score phase.
Okay.
So we have not passed the confront step here.
We are at a confront step at Distracted Lead Actress. Well, which order were they done in originally?
I don't remember.
Well, I think it would have been distracted first.
Yeah, Distracted was the one he declared first.
If at the highest level, if you attempt to confront something and you don't have enough, can you? If he needed blue, could he get rid of the rocket scooter at that point?
Okay, well,
If he needed blue, yeah, he would still have the rocket scooter option because I think probably the confront can happen at any point in this step.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't. No, you already tried to confront it. There was eccentric there. Go away.
Right. Yeah, I think you can say I'm gonna try to confront, but that just means like I'm entering the confront step, and then
Yeah, I think I've done
you
that
can
before.
keep trying.
Oh yeah, especially if the opponent denies you.
Then you deny your opponent right back.
Yeah, you get a whole chain of immediates, which honestly we haven't seen that much of that type of shenanigan, but certainly you see it a lot when there is a shoeshine who's out, and then, the opponent is playing tricks, and then the shoeshine player is responding by zipping shoeshines around.
Now the question is, will he
Blind flips a chaos?
Pretty nice, yeah.
Will he get the friend he wants?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, he got some yellow.
Yeah, not
And I
hugely
am
relevant. It
doing
does make
face
the
off.
yellow harder, but it's not like Instagram has that many cards that are
Sure.
one yellow. It's pretty much just Bunyip. Well, I guess Shoeshine as well is one yellow.
And now Big Cheese has a Chaos in hand. Magic
Yeah, that
Blast.
part is really nice, since he additionally has Staff of Sakanas. But, of course, if the Staff of Sakanas were to come out right now, the Rocket Scooter would destroy it.
I'll spend 2 for a stick. 2.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna go for the
Still 1.
staff.
No immediate response. Now, Cheese did kind of breeze through the priority window there, but it looks like Instagram didn't have any desire to take it just yet. Maybe he's holding the Pegasi to try to confront, and then he'll get rid of the staff later. Totally reasonable. He does need the power.
And face off.
Oh, or maybe he's gonna wait to do it in confront chicken.
Yeah, so I'm winning the face off.
You have it.
Okay.
What does Spike and Gabby Chaos do?
You flip an additional card.
Yeah, that's tough. It's hard to overcome that.
And don't worry, it's mandatory.
Okay.
That'll put Cheese up to 8 points. But
Eager.
I wonder if Instagram is thinking the same thing that Bugle mentioned before, which is I'm favored much more if I go first. If I lose this, it's not the end of the world here.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully Instagram doesn't need to worry too much because yeah, this is game 2. He'll go first in game 3, and if he can keep his cool, I think he can still pretty easily pull this back if his luck goes the right way. 2 Vapor Trails basically
Ooh.
means every dilemma is a free confront.
Vapor Trail
And-
is stacking.
And he has Stunning Wonder, so very easily is a free dilemma. Or
Yeah.
if it's stuck together, it's a -1 cost dilemma.
For Bunyip.
And I think
Okay.
so. He drew twice that turn because of the Eager, and it was unsatisfactory work and Bunyip. So, I mean, we were talking about if Instagram's luck looks a little better, then he could still win this, and it's already looking pretty good, honestly.
One for.
So I definitely think that Instagram can do a double if he wants to.
Who sends a Baby Flurry Heart to hand.
One.
Yeah, he's doing it proactively so that he can spend all of his actions before playing the dilemma.
Ah.
That's pretty good. You know,
Yeah,
usually
that's-
you'd want to hold it, but here it's just totally worth it to go in this order.
Now
Yeah,
with this,
it definitely makes sense because now Cheese is no longer in orange, so he has to
Yeah.
play an entry to get it.
Oh yeah, Melted Expectations doesn't even work anymore. He would have to use one of his pink events.
And he does have the option of moving a second character to that dilemma if he wants to, because he has 2 Vapor Trails in play.
Right, he doesn't need to, and he should be invincible on that problem since Pink can't touch the Fluttershy. So it doesn't really matter, but yeah, he did have the option to move another character there.
Well, he is 1 power down from confronting that problem because he chose not to, so
Yeah, now that the Vapor Trail is gone and Fluttershy is only up to 4 strength. Yeah, that hurts.
Game 4.
Wow. Oh, she's got the better luck there, and the Vapor Trail. This is actually what you mentioned before, Animoy. He hit the Vapor Trail, and it turned a double confront into a 0 confront.
yeah, you almost want to play or move the Vapor Trails to the dilemmas, but then they're at risk for removal. But if the main can do it itself, I guess it doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was incorrect there. Stunning Wonder was confronting because the 2 Vapor Trails give her +2 power. I should
Yeah,
pay more attention.
Well, so she would have been confronting, but then the Vapor Trail got killed. So
Yeah.
at the time, Instagram made a decision that was like, not a problem, but put him a little more at risk, and then Cheese was just able to exploit that a little bit of extra risk.
We're not savages here. She wasn't killed. She was chaos magic blasted gently to the discard pile.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be fine to get blasted with magic chaos. Nothing bad could happen.
And there's the Wrath of Gilda, so that will definitely set Instagram back pretty hard, especially having played the Bunyip.
Yeah, I mean, considering the fact that
Pass turn.
he hadn't yet been able to use the rocket scooter Pegasi to get rid of staff. Yeah, and the cheese is up in points. That Wrath of Gilda is really good here.
Although Cheese used his motivational speech for blue, and maybe he still needs some orange entry.
Yeah, he's still out of orange. So it's not a perfect situation for cheese, but it's probably the best situation for cheese we've seen this game, unless Instagram can quickly enough get entry.
I know how he can get entry. He can reanimate something with tender taps that has orange.
One for rushed makeover into blue.
Yeah, he does have the pinky sense. But Tender Taps has a size limit,
yes.
So it would have to be the Gabion Spike, which is still quite good.
Second Rocket Scooter, bringing 3 Pegasi back out. He'll definitely be able to get 1 confront, maybe 2. Do you go for the DFO here, given that Cheese has 0 AT now?
I would say
just always go for it.
Probably. Yeah, being Stunning Wonder, it's almost never the wrong decision. But it looks like he might not have had what he needed to double this turn.
Draws a Terrified Scream, which will probably be helpful later, but not helpful getting this DFO to happen.
Yeah, he's just short on yellow.
Go to score phase.
Yeah, he has the Angel Fluttershy in his hand, so if he wanted to go all out with the rocket scooters, he could do a double, but I think that is too expensive, and that might not be worth it.
Another pinky sense for Big Cheese.
He also could be hoping for just playing it, using its ability if Cheese happens to confront something this turn.
Bugle pointing out that before that Wrath of Gilda, it was actually, fairly telegraphed that Cheese was going to play it because he had to play motivational speech into blue. And technically, Instagram did have the option to respond to that by getting rid of the motivational speech at immediate speed. So that is kind of a tough line of play to see. But yeah, it's a good catch by Bugle and definitely would have made the game look a totally different board state than we're seeing right now.
That is true.
Just in case.
Possibly going to reanimate Bodyguard.
That would be pretty good.
Looks like he's going for the single here.
I think the Terrified Scream is good here. It's a 2-point swing to win this face-off. Yeah.
Is that a 2-point dilemma?
No, it's just one, but Big Cheese's score matters a lot here, so Big Cheese having 1 fewer point and Instagram having 1 more is really a big deal.
Yeah, and that'll put the scores at Cheese being at 9 and Instagram being at 6, I believe. Yeah, 6.
Which is a lot better than 8-4, I think.
4 action tokens. Draw.
And 7 is not 7. 6 is a lot of action tokens for a yellow-blue aggro deck. And I see a Loyal Pony in his hand, so he could easily get this DFO here now if he wanted to. It's just a lot more risky because now Cheese has 2 AT.
Yeah. Now Cheese only can play pink events still, so the tricks aren't quite as devastating as a Melted Expectation would be. So I think it's still probably worth it for Instagram to go for this. Well, it's always worth it to go for it. He's playing Stunning Wonder. But I think Instagram might be able to push through even a single trick.
You know, it's funny. Chaos Magic Blast gets better after a board wipe with Wrath of Gilda because there's less chance and less characters or less friends to go for.
Yeah, you definitely want to play your Chaos Magic Blasts after the Wrath of Gilda rather than before. So Instagram, this is actually something we saw before. He's looking at a double. He wants to draw, some big aggro card, and he draws into a Terrified Scream. So it's not exactly what he wants to see, but it's still pretty good because those Terrified Screams can, turn losing problem face-offs into winning ones. That'll just be later in the game.
Yeah, it looks like he opts to eat the Pegasi tokens to get rid of the staff. So that means that she's less power and has also lost his current only face-off outlet until Instagram DFOs.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And so, I mean, what Instagram was waiting for to do that, I bet he had wanted to get rid of that staff for a couple of turns, but he had to wait until he had some other blue entry. So he gets the loyal pony triggers because he has some blue, and then he's finally safe to get rid of those Pegasi. Well, we can see that Big Cheese is now hurting because he's paying to draw, which this deck, which has quite a bit of draw tech on its own, typically doesn't have to do.
I think I was gonna say I think he's just looking for an entry card.
Or a way for face-offs. He doesn't have staff. He doesn't have Baby Flurry Heart.
Yeah, he has the Flurry Heart in hand, but not the orange wreck to play it.
No, it's okay because he got a third Pinky Sense, and that will solve all of his problems.
Pass turn.
Okay. 4 action.
Oof. So I think he probably calculated that even if he drew what he needed, he wouldn't have enough actions in 2 to actually use it, so he just has to wait, which is not a good feeling for Cheese here. He has this really good opportunity, but actually Instagram has done enough counterplay that he's in just not a place to follow up on it.
One for crawling critters.
Mhm.
Gaining an action token back and drawing.
Gonna get another crawling critters here, and draws the third Vapor Trail.
Yeah, just getting that extra draw early to try to see, hey, can I have the tools to actually double is exactly what he needed.
3
I mean, playing a dilemma on the same turn that you're going to DFO
vapor trail.
with the new Stunning Wonder feels kind of bad sometimes because it means that you don't get the extra action for the DFO.
And
However,
one
it allows you to do stuff like draw the Vapor Trail that you really needed in order to make everything work.
2 critters.
Okay.
So Instagram right there did something that might be a little confusing, which is that he moved Fluttershy from a problem where she was helping out to a different problem. But that's because the move itself is what Instagram needed, so that he could trigger Corralling Critters and get those 2 strength critters down, which are, allowing him to easily confront that problem.
Yeah, and this will be the DFO that he's probably been trying to get for a few turns.
Yeah, we actually haven't seen Instagram DFO yet, I think.
We haven't. We had an almost DFO there before, and it looks like Cheese put the tender taps on top of his deck with Pinky Sense to end the face-off with Happy Trees.
Well, Instagram was able to start a DFO. That's almost the same thing.
That ends my turn.
He just wasn't able to finish it, unfortunately, because of the Happy Trees.
With a 1 bonus, that's not a huge swing.
Yeah, and it looks like now we have Instagram being at, I think, 8 to Cheese's 9. But he's now confronting 2 problems, so if he wanted to, next turn, he could just go right to score phase unless Cheese plays something that he needs to answer.
Yeah, Cheese is definitely going to have to do something else to get the momentum back. He bought some time, but now he needs to buy a good board state. Honestly, the only bad thing that happened for Instagram on that score phase was that he flipped a shoe shine that he would have wanted to draw. Everything else is still looking pretty much fine.
So we got the orange wreck on Cheese's side. He's thinking about paying for the Flurry Heart. Will he do it?
He kind of wants that bodyguard out there so that he can retire the happy trees.
Bugle points out in chat, Discord does have vexing, but we also, I believe he drew an that Instagram drew an unsatisfactory work earlier.
I know he's played one so far on that Flurry Heart way back when. I don't remember if he's seen a second, but he may have.
Yeah.
However, it might not even be worth it because Discord is hasty.
Yeah. But you would need the purple wreck to hard cast it.
Whatever. We'll target rainbow.
Okay.
Now the question is,
Natural resource.
we have a mysterious disappearance.
Oh, that's not great. He either has to hit his own entry or a rocket scooter, which would be terrible.
He chooses
Oh,
to
yes,
get rid of
pinky
one of
sense.
his pinky senses, which is absolutely what you do here.
Yeah, for sure. I had forgotten about the pinky senses because they're so irrelevant to Big Cheese's game state right now. He only needs one, maybe two in a silly situation, but definitely not the third one. So yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, the third one was just, okay, whatever, I drew this, I guess I'll play it.
Confront.
Okay, bad hair day ×2.
Okay.
He'll drop 2 bad hair days from the confront.
Well, that's really good. He's almost certain to win the face-off now, since those bad hair days are also boosted by Vapor Trail.
Yeah,
Oh.
and that'll put him to 9 to Big Cheese's 10 if he's able to swing this face off in his favor.
9.
No.
Oh,
I think
fuck
Instagram
all.
is actually already at 9, at least according to Bugle, so
Yeah.
that'll tie him up, which is really nice.
Yeah, he is at 9.
Yeah.
I miscounted the points earlier. But yeah, that will put the game in a tie, and then he'll have
Okay.
a chance to...
So I already got this thing for confront. So then.
Yeah, a tie going into Instagram's turn is really good for Instagram.
Those are not great flips for either of player. Cheese was probably hoping for a Chaos Magic Blast or something, and Instagram probably would have really liked that Bunyip.
Yeah, the Bunyip probably would have given him enough to win next turn. As it stands, there just aren't that many points on the board. I think if Rookie Mistake is only 1 point, so there are only 3 points on the problems available. So it's going to be a little challenging for Instagram to actually win this turn without that Bunyip.
Yeah, that face-off definitely was in Instagram's favor. He'll go to 10 at the start of his turn. Points are tied, 10-10.
Pass turn.
Okay.
Now, will he opt to try to get rid of that vexing Discord, or will he just play a dilemma and just face off the other problems?
Yeah, I mean, since he can't win this turn anyway. Oh, no, wait, that's a buckball strategy that he just drew.
Yeah, the buckball strategy draw is definitely a really good draw here.
So it's complicated, and he may not have enough actions to do it. But in theory, he might be able to win this turn if he has exactly the right cards.
He does still need to gain his 1 and draw 1. That is mandatory.
Thank goodness, some mandatory boons here rather than ones you can miss out on. And that's a Bunyip. Okay, well, this may be doable.
1 for.
That is definitely doable.
Bunyip
Cheese has 1 AT left, it looks like.
to move.
All right, playing the Bunyip there means that Instagram definitely has to do unsatisfactory work.
Attempt to confront.
Otherwise, this would be sadness.
Attempt to confront.
Sadness.
Yep, it looks like the vexing has come into play.
Your turn.
Cheese has stopped the confront there.
Okay, definitely not a great outcome, but also pretty likely still a fine position for Instagram. Instagram is obviously going to win next turn unless Cheese does something big. So let's see
Yeah.
what he can do.
Yeah, Cheese needs to crawl up here.
He's already entered into Wrath of Gilda colors, so if he can get one of those, that is easily a way to put him back on the winning path. What other things? I mean, good enough chaos maybe could help.
It's a tough one because we're in the same situation here that we were last game, where Instagram is set up pretty well at multiple problems.
Yeah,
And
this
Cheese is
cleared.
running out of resources.
He's going for white on motivational.
Okay, hold on.
Oh yeah, he must be because there aren't any other colors to go for.
Instagram is thinking of
The most recent one.
going for it this time.
Yeah, he's gonna go and stop that. He probably knows that was gonna turn into a tender taps.
Now, one other thing is tender taps flip would end the face-off and end the buckball point.
Flurry. Against one of your critters at home.
Okay.
Did you actually? Oh wait. You don't have to get rid of your.
All right. Well, it definitely seemed like that prevented Big Cheese from doing his plan.
Maybe it was a mismain.
I think at this point, Big Cheese is saying, "Hey, I want to draw, but Flurry Heart is a more efficient way to draw."
Looks like he's opting to go for the bodyguard here.
That's too white.
Yeah,
That's
sorry,
pretty
okay,
good.
so
I mean,
6,
if
and
he
you're at
also can get his hands on a Wrath of Gilda.
tender taps.
Oh no, the bodyguard doesn't help there.
Well, actually, I meant whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, declare which card you're counting as your
Yeah, sorry about that.
So the
on
staff goes
top
to the
of
bottom
it.
of the deck. The flipped tender taps will go into his hand, and he now has a bodyguard in play at Buckball strategy.
Sure. Unsatisfactory
A
work.
pretty good outcome because he can also, well, he's entered into white, so he can also. Oh, interesting. He did
Yeah.
have an unsatisfactory work.
We have some white.
Yeah, but I think sending that bodyguard back was definitely the good call here, because even though a prepared token's now in play, that's still not enough white to do anything with in Cheese's deck.
Yeah, Cheese is just continually being denied white here, which is very interesting. It's not clear to me if he wants to use that white for Mistmane or Tender Taps, but he definitely wants to use the white.
We'll put a bodyguard from the discard.
We see a discarded bodyguard in the discard, which means he's probably gonna try to use that last Pinky Sense to put a Tender Taps on top of the deck.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to set up this face-off, which is probably going to be pretty good for him.
Yeah, it seems like he just wants to get white out at this point, and tender taps flip will do that.
Score phase. Confront for 1.
Why does he want white so badly?
He might just be going for he probably just wants to play Mistmane so that he can get Wrath of Gilda again.
That's true. Yeah, because Wrath of Gilda is his main path to victory here. Now, the issue is that's a 2-turn strategy.
We're still tied.
And I'm not sure that 2 turns exist in this game.
Plan ahead one. Oh, but you have.
All right, there are a lot of friends to pick from here with the random choice.
And we have a Chaos Magic Blast is gonna get rid of one of the friends. Will it be one of the 2 critters at home, or will it be the Vapor Trail or Bunyip?
Oh, sorry. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. I had already done it in my head, but forgot to say it.
Oh, I'm looking at the flips. I thought those were token friends.
Ooh, Vapor Trail.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
Instagram definitely
perfect
wants it to be a
hit.
critter at home, and that is the exact opposite.
Yeah, hitting the vapor trail.
We are tied again.
A lot of flips happening.
They're still
And not a
tied.
lot of chaos
How
flips.
many cards did we just
You
flip?
you hate to see this many flips against chaos control.
He flipped 7.
Well, what's crazy about this is even though Cheese wins the face-off, it's buckball strategy, so Instagram is still gonna have the score tied 12 to 12.
Going on the bottom of my deck.
Yeah, now the downside is unless Instagram gets another bunyip, he's still going to be 3 points from winning, and that means he needs to do a double. If he gets another bunyip, he can just do a single at Distracted Lead Actress, which is so much simpler.
And Cheese flipped 7 cards. A
And-
lot of cards in there that he probably would have liked to have. I saw Melted Expectations. I saw a Wrath of Gilda.
I think the Wrath of Gilda was like his first flip, so it was right there on the top, which must hurt.
Jeffrey, score your point for Buckball being solved.
Ah, yes.
Ah, Buckball point.
Okay.
Bugle pointing out that bulk biceps would also be some point acceleration, but that one needs a face-off, which Instagram only gets if he doubles.
Draw. Okay.
Is that a Spooky Ruin?
That's what I thought it was, but
It is
This
haven't
deck
s-
Spooky
has
Ruins.
Spooky Ruins?
Haven't
We've
seen
seen
that.
Instagram play like 3 or 4 games, and we've never seen that.
2.
Wow, that would have been good a while ago against Chaos Control.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
that would definitely make it difficult to get those chaos effects.
Wow, I'm suddenly a lot more optimistic on Instagram's 3rd game now that he has Spooky Ruins.
there's still Spike and Gabby though.
Go to score phase.
Yeah, but the Spike and Gabby, you flip one more, so you'll flip one, but you still have to ignore one. So you get to flip one, but you don't get to count its power, which is a bummer. Okay.
And we got the belly flop onto the bunyip. Cheese has to do that here.
And that's flipped
Yeah,
one
both
less.
players are playing kind of more securely. They're trying to slow each other down. Instead of going all out for this face-off, where Cheese was kind of obviously holding a trick, Instagram is like, you know what? I'm just going to prevent him from being a chaotic control deck. That's my strategy. I'm going to play the Spooky Ruins. And I understand that because it gives him an opportunity to win next turn instead. The
It's-
downside would have been, like, what if Big Cheese plays Wrath of Gilda? But, like, Wrath of Gilda doesn't even matter. There's no board on Instagram's side.
And let's not forget Spooky Ruins will block 1, pay 1 to draw.
Yeah, which, I mean, I bet Cheese wants to do right now.
We'll do this against one of your critters, flipping 1. Actually. Do I want to... Oh, yeah, we can do... That's fine.
Looks like that's going to be a tender taps going to the top of the deck.
A purely only chaos flip. Not that point totals matter in a.
Okay. We'll put that into play there.
Read Spike and Gabby.
Oh, and then you ignore 1.
Your current power is 4.
Yeah, so he'll get the chaos, but he won't get the power. But I think his goal was to get enough white for that mist main, because he's definitely eyeing that Wrath of Gilda. There's no other reason for him to be wanting bodyguards so badly here.
Yeah, I don't know. Wrath of Gilda isn't any good anymore because Instagram's board is gone anyway. I'm not sure. Maybe at this point, since Big Cheese is at what, 12? He just wants the Mist Mains to win the game. He just wants to score with them.
Miss me?
Okay.
Choosing...
This is one of those situations where you definitely don't choose to take a card back if you're Instagram.
Yeah, he looks like he chose belly flop.
Yeah, that's pretty gnarly. it just gets a lot harder for Instagram to actually score if Big Cheese is recycling belly flop every turn.
Score face.
Mm-hmm.
Confront for 1.
Okay.
Eat spoopy.
Eating the spooky ruins makes sense.
Yeah, that hurts pretty bad.
Okay.
Instagram needs something miraculous here to actually win.
Action tokens.
Well, he knows he has the belly flop, so he's gonna need more than just the one bunyip that I don't think he has in hand.
Yeah, shoe shine here is too late due to the belly flop.
Yeah.
Well, certainly this is going to be the last turn because Cheese is showing points to win, trivially. He's at 14. So it's just a calculation of, is Instagram going to be able to score somehow? It seems really hard since he doesn't have blue.
I mean, he can blow up a rocket scooter for blue.
For
Well, he would need Pegasi, and currently he only has critters out.
pages here.
Ah, you're right.
Mm.
I thought you could
So
just self-blow it up.
We have the ruffled pages.
For shoe shine here.
That's enough to buy the shoe shine. Ooh, that's really good. That's pretty good. Now, the issue is Instagram might not win this single face-off.
He does have that terrified scream in hand, so if he needs to, he can boot Big Mac Big Eater out of the face-off if it proceeds that far.
To draw. One.
Yeah, he's just getting rid of his action so that he can play a stuck together. A second shoe shine? That could get through the belly flops. Oh, Lord.
That's a dilemma.
Is that a Buckball championship he just drew, or
I
Buckball
think so.
or Buckball strategy? I don't remember which one it is.
Yeah, he could play Buckball Championship and shoe shine and then just go crazy here. It's not bad. It might be enough.
One.
Because if he can double it, well, the Buckball can't trigger because if Cheese wins the double, then he wins the game before Buckball Championship triggers. That's a
Another
bummer.
shoe shine.
Yeah, those two shoe shines might actually somehow pull this out, which would be a miracle. Now, Instagram has 2 actions spare, and I'm not sure what to do with them. He wants to hold 1 for Terrified Scream, but that means he might just not do anything with the other one.
Yeah, I think Buckball Championship costs 2 AT.
Yeah, which is not worth it to lose the Terrified Scream.
Yeah, he also knows that Cheese is probably gonna belly flop one of these.
Bugle pointing out that Cheese should have flopped the ruffled pages just as soon as it came out.
And
I do tend to agree. Now I understand why Cheese didn't want to, because it's not like Instagram needed blue. He could have confronted with just the yellow. So ruffled pages was not necessarily integral to Instagram's strategy. The issue is then Instagram had 2 shoe shines and the world fell apart.
shoe shine here. Sack.
So now it's just a counting game of can the shoe shines actually get big enough?
To move this shoe shine here.
Oof. Sacking ruffled pages. That
Sack critter.
I don't know about that. That's gonna make the
Not
face off
yet. Not yet.
so hard.
Put one of your action tokens on that shoe shine there.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah.
I wait and see what happens on the confronts first, I think.
Yes. That's what happened. Okay.
Yeah, this is definitely risky because of the belly flop he knows Cheese has in his hand.
Yeah, he's playing this as though he's betting on no tricks,
You have
but
different counters.
he
Okay.
does have access to the information that there's a trick.
Here.
Are they?
attempt to confront.
We'll belly flop Miss Main into that one.
Okay.
Yeah, now Cheese can just get the Miss Main back from discard and then play it for game.
Move to face off.
Okay, I'll gain 2.
Yeah. So I understand Instagram just trying that out because
Where's the
he
face
needed
off?
to do something. He did confront Distractress before doing that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Flip an additional card first. And then... sure, we'll put Discord into play, although I really don't want to. But...
You don't want to, but you're gonna do it anyway.
And then we will ignore that. But it doesn't matter, because face-off's over.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so Cheese wins this one. Now,
Yes.
yeah, Instagram getting those 2 shoe shines looked like it was almost enough, but there's probably no way to make it work unless he ended up getting like one more small friend.
Draw card return.
It looks like Cheese forgot to give himself a point for winning that face-off, or am I missing something
The
here?
face-off
was
ended.
Get back Miss Main.
Well, that's
It was ended by Happy Trees.
Your game.
Oh, right, entered play. Right, that's how Happy Trees works. But it doesn't really matter either way. Cheese had more than enough going on to secure the game. Still really close though, 13 to 15.
Yeah, very
that will-
close.
And that'll put us to game 3, which, from a spectator's perspective, is always exciting to see the final match go to game 3, because that means this is the one that'll decide it.
Yeah, I think so. This was a good game from Cheese. It definitely looked a lot better for him because he got to a Wrath of Gilda, which really turned around the mid game. From what I'm seeing here, definitely Instagram going first is going to be a big difference. Instagram potentially getting some Spooky Ruins out could help. I think Instagram's biggest threat right now might be nerves, because after losing a game, it can feel really bad. Like, ugh, I see how this opponent's deck can tear me to pieces, and now you're just thinking about all of the ways that you can lose. And so, honestly, I think because Instagram's deck has been performing so well and has been scoring so quickly and mostly having the answers it needs to Big Cheese, if Instagram can keep his cool here, I think he can probably win this.
Yeah, and the fact that he's going first is definitely going to be huge for him.
I think both sides have seen that attacking the other's color entry is effective in this series.
Yeah, she's playing a 5-color deck. The entry is important. Instagram actually doesn't have that much resource removal in his deck. It's just been Rocket Scooter pretty much. But the great thing about Rocket Scooter is it's immediate. Bugle is nervous. I am also nervous. I too want the Stunning Wonder to win. I mean, honestly, Big Cheese's deck is very impressive and very new. It's the type of deck that we haven't seen before. But regardless, I'm still rooting for aggro. I want aggro to do well.
2 for ruffled pages. Score phase at front.
Yep.
And turn.
2.
And we have a point.
If this was sudden death, it would be over.
Pass.
2 action tokens. Draw.
Yeah, despite my history, I actually most prefer playing aggro decks.
2 for
So I will definitely be satisfied if I see an aggro deck win. But Cheese's deck is very impressive, and the
and turn.
specific lines of play that it involves, it's definitely impressive
Game 3.
to see it played so well.
Yeah, a control deck with no troublemakers is pretty uncommon. All right, so worth noting, Philly Racers has come out. We've actually barely seen Philly Racers in this 3-game match. It is really a big deal because it's an action generator. Big Cheese doesn't actually really have action generators in his deck, which used to be a total staple of control. This is going to make Istogram's economy for the rest of this game so good, unless Big Cheese can start to respond to it fairly soon.
Doesn't look like he has anything he can do that in hand currently.
Now, he does have a Wrath of Gilda, so maybe he can just flip the board kind of early on here once Philly Racer starts to get too out of control. That is probably going to be one of his better options, unless he can kill that Philly Racers in the next 2 turns.
Histogram also has a Spooky Ruins.
Orange.
That's pretty good early.
Score face. Double confront.
Cheese going for the double confront. He'll flip 2 with the Spike and Gabby. Flip 3.
So I'm at 5. Yep.
That's 1 belly flop gone.
And a Shoeshine gone.
5 total.
Yeah, the no big chaos. I mean, like, the extra flip is good, but it doesn't kill anything. You know, Chaos Magic Blast would have been the biggest thing to see. Probably the most important flip that we just saw there was the Shoeshine.
Yeah. That Shoeshine would have been free with Philly Racers. We got Surprise Takeoff as our next problems, and Mystery at Hope Hollow on Cheese's side.
Action token and draw.
Actually, sorry. What score should I be at?
You confronted once, then you went for
The double.
He's at the correct
Okay, sorry,
points
yeah,
at 4.
Okay. Okay,
Good start point-wise for Big Cheese.
Jeffrey. Did you draw a card?
Yeah, both of them are going quite quickly, actually.
Okay.
So Instagram's going to go up to 4 actions.
3 action tokens.
With Philly Racers, that's enough to do some major shenanigans.
Terrified Scream for Instagram. Big Cheese
We said that
has
Instagram did have Spooky Ruins, right?
Yes.
If he can't double, he might just want to play that. Yeah. Because that's just going to proactively prevent a lot of the things that Big Cheese wants to do early on.
It definitely makes Spike and Gabby a lot less valuable.
And bank and pass.
Okay. Up to 4.
Though the Chaos still hits.
Draw a card.
Looks like Instagram did not use the Philly Racers trigger this turn. I guess no friends that were just good enough to be played right now or small enough for him to hold on to a trick as well. kind of a bummer. You typically want to see Philly Racers used every turn, but the Spooky Ruins is probably the most important thing right now.
I think that even if he doesn't actually plan on playing anything, he should definitely consider just exhausting Philly Racers right now to have that floating ability. And it makes Big Cheese reconsider, like, oh, he's going to play something here.
Yeah, it definitely raises the specter of those types of things. Now, that got me thinking, does Instagram's deck not have Swinging Wonders? Because I think it might not, which would be the main thing that you'd want to play with Philly Racers at immediate speed.
And pay 2 for Vapor Trail.
All right, early Vapor Trail. I assume Instagram probably has at least one dilemma at this point, so that's going to be pretty good. Maybe he doesn't, but the Vapor Trail is still a great call. He can do a Bunyip as well, and then he's confronting there.
For Bunyip.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's not terrible setup there. He might choose just to go for the score phase. Sounds like that is what he's going to do. Just
Yeah.
Cheese have an answer in his hand.
He's got the action advantage with Philly Racers, so just like sitting around and using Bunyip isn't terrible. Now, obviously, he's going to want to start running eventually, but this way actually does prevent him from having to overcommit, which could be a problem if a Wrath of Gilda comes out.
Yeah. He also knows that he has that Terrified Scream in his hand, Spooky Ruins in play. He actually is more favored in a face-off than it looks like he is.
Yeah. It's actually going to be tough to win a single against him at the moment.
Big Eater is real good.
Yeah, that Big Eater is exactly what she's needed.
Now, currently, there is no confront on Cheese's side, so...
Bad Hair Day.
Okay.
I believe Bad Hair Day does not cause a face-off because it's already too late.
That is correct. The confront step has happened.
So it's just going to allow him to confront the next turn, which is still pretty good.
Yeah, it happens after the confront.
Okay.
Yep. So I'll eat Spoopy.
Now, Big Cheese has drawn pretty well so far, but doesn't have a Pinky Sense yet.
That's interesting, yeah. Also, he's building out his board more, which makes that Wrath of Gilda in his hand worse and worse.
Draw.
I cannot quite tell what that draw was from Instagram.
That looks like...
2 to Raleigh Bunyip.
It's a resource. It has
Could that be
Spitfire on the art.
The Wonderbolts training thing that spawns a lot of tokens?
I wonder if it is Pegasus Eggs, which I think is actually called Wonderbolt's Runway, but we'll always call it Pegasus Eggs. And by we, I mean me.
The Royal We.
So that means that he might have been sideboarding that out earlier, but maybe now wants more blue and wants more Pegasi to maybe go after opposing resources.
It does give him a little protection against Wrath of Gilda, just because it doesn't get destroyed by that, and it'll later give him some blue entry. Not sure. But there's some value there for sure.
Get the featherweight out, so...
Yeah, just using that hanging discount from Philly Racers.
To score phase.
I will. Disable. Tryhorn?
Okay, so Cheese is actually going for the face-off here. He doesn't want Bunyip to trigger, but he still wants to have a face-off.
So you can
That's pretty interesting. I mean, Spooky Ruins is gone, so this could go really well for Cheese, but Terrified Scream might be enough. Ooh, a 1 flip. That hurts.
I'll keep 5.
And it being a Bunyip,
I'm at 11, and you are at...
only 5. So the Terrified Scream will not be enough here.
You're up by 6.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really good outcome for Cheese.
Yeah, that'll get Cheese the additional 2 points.
One for.
Okay, so he's actually going all out just to tie this face off. That is kind of interesting. So he's holding on to this unsatisfactory work, and Big Cheese has been playing really impactful friends. Oh, okay.
Oh,
This is
Now it's gonna depend on where the die lands,
Yeah, so
because if he picks a friend at
Oh, sorry.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
if he picks a friend at home or that featherweight over there, it doesn't matter.
Oh, that was the absolute best thing for Cheese. Okay, so
gets Vapor Trail again.
yeah, I mean, and this is why it's so risky to go all out just to tie against a chaotic control deck because of this exact type of outcome. That unsatisfactory work gives so much advantage. It could have, for example, denied entry earlier to Big Cheese by just getting rid of Spike and Gabby or something. So here, unfortunately, its effect is almost lost.
+1 power.
Bring out
Yeah.
your best, declares Pegasus.
And he does have cheaper dilemmas in his hand.
That's true.
Like I see a Buckball Championship.
Rock hard.
Bugle pointing out that is the third time Chaos Magic Blast has hit Vapor Trail. That is painful.
Now, Instagram's board is very good right now. Wouldn't be bad for Chaos Magic Blast since Big Cheese doesn't have a ton of stuff out right now.
Oh, you mean a Wrath of Gilda?
Wrath of Gilda, yes.
Yeah,
One of
I
them board
agree.
wipes.
Especially since Big Mac was just so kindly returned to Cheese's hand, the Wrath of Gilda would be pretty good right now. Now, the issue is he would lose orange entry, but besides that, it's quite good.
I mean, an unfrightened Bunyip is somewhat inevitable.
Okay.
All right,
Looks like
so he's
Cheese's
passing.
ops just past turn. That will
4 action tokens.
I have to imagine that he's hoping that Instagram emit more. He can do one big impact trick and then a board wipe. If he actually can pull that off, then he might have the whole game because he's already in a point lead. And what we've seen is Big Cheese in a point lead, and then he does Wrath of Gilda. It's really hard for Instagram to come back from that.
Well, he just drew a Fluttershy and Bulk Biceps. That's definitely something that he can use.
For Buckball Champion.
Yeah, it's hasty, which can be nice to respond to Cheese's tricks,
Exhaust
but
Silly Racers.
Instagram doesn't have that many actions to work with right now. Oh, Shoeshine. That'll solve a lot of problems.
I think he's got 2 Shoe Shine. Or just 1.
Certainly with a Shoeshine, Cheese will have to do a Wrath of Gilda next turn.
Pay 2.
Like, there's no other path
Shine
that's
Ball.
going to keep Cheese with the advantage here. The issue is Instagram is emptying his whole hand for this double. So after that
Pay 1.
after that board wipe, Instagram is going to have very little gas to work with. So the most important thing is that Instagram actually succeeds in this double or maybe even triple face-off. If he can do that and actually get enough points to tie up Cheese, maybe he can survive the board wipe.
Maybe Big Cheese is holding on to that Wrath of Gilda for the Shoe Shine or Shoe Shines.
1 for.
Go for the
Here.
yeah, he goes for the Shoeshine at the problem, so he can just have Shoeshine run around a couple times.
Yes.
Attempt to confront here.
The nice thing about Shoeshine here is you're eating up a bunch of stuff, It does feel bad to have to get rid of the Bunyip, but I think it's a reasonable call.
Shoeshine
Yep.
here.
The Wrath of Gilda becomes less and less impactful the more that Istagram blows up his own board in the sake of profits.
Sack ruffled pages.
You just want to be careful and you don't accidentally set yourself up for later failure.
Well, if a Wrath of Gilda's coming out, you might as well eat it first.
Sack.
Right. Now,
Featherweight.
sacking Featherweight hurts a lot because I feel like he could have done a triple confront without much more stress.
Stuff.
If he had, sacked like Angel Bunny first,
That's fine.
he could have confronted there and then come for triple confront on Mystery at Hope Hollow. Now, that's not a big deal. It only really matters since we know that a board wipe is coming and you want to eat all of your stuff in order to get the value now before everything is destroyed. However, this is still a really good outcome for Instagram.
That's solving.
Yeah. Now he probably knows that he's gonna have to retire that Angel Bunny or Fluttershy Bad Hair Day at his problem to get that extra point. So he probably figured I would rather have the Philly Racers than the Featherweight. So that's probably why he made that call.
That's fair. However, it
chose
looks
not
like he missed
to-
the trigger, yeah.
This turn, didn't I?
Yep. So mystery.
That's a good point that I forgot about. That, yeah, you don't need to do extra scrounging to get 1 point if you can just get 1 point with the Fluttershy in bulk.
And
Yeah.
I'm at home limit. So.
Hold on, 1 second. He still has to replace his prop.
Okay.
So it looks like Cheese chose the Staff of Sakanas, a reasonable choice, given that he needs that face-off outlet so that he can continue doing his chaos control shenanigans.
Critter
So this was just about
to
the
move
best thing that could have happened to Instagram, and it basically only got him up to even score. Things are going to need to keep going well.
Yeah, he's currently
5 points at the start of the
up, I believe.
You double confronted,
Yes.
then you want to face off with a problem with 2 bonus, then you got a point off a buckball, you should be at 10.
Yeah.
Okay, 10 is actually pretty good. 10, he could win through a board wipe if Cheese doesn't move fast enough.
In turn.
Yeah, and Cheese is gonna have to start getting some control tricks in his hand. I mean, he has some now, but he's gonna want more. That Tender Taps he just drew is definitely gonna be helpful. Does he have a Discord, though?
It's the pinky
so-
sense. Where's the pinky sense?
2. 4 stick.
Yeah, no pinky senses this game.
Pay 1. Sticking Shoeshine.
This is one of those times where you definitely want to use a Terrified Scream to protect your friend. The earlier Bunyip calls,
We're at 8, now at 9.
were a maybe. This would be great, but, obviously he doesn't have it right now, which just hurts pretty bad because you lose all of those counters. That Shoeshine at 5 strength can do anything you want all the time. And so that's why using the stick on it is so good, because Instagram now has to pay 2, and Shoeshine only comes back as 1 strength.
I wonder if it would have helped if he had eaten a couple friends, or if maybe that would have been too risky because he knew, okay, well now it's a gigantic belly flop target, I should say.
Bugle thinks he could have made it work. You just have to eat 1 card and move it to Philly Racers, and that gives you 2 strength because of Philly Racers' ability.
Philly Racers being at home, yeah, that would work.
Ah. Now, one thing is solving Hope Hollow last turn, and I'm thinking that Big Cheese might get staff, might have led you to maybe think of something different to do with the Shoeshine.
You're exhausted, CC and Flitter.
That's interesting.
If you could see really far in the future, which I as a player certainly cannot.
Yeah, so with that Hope Hollow, there was always the possibility that Cheese would have just, dug for entry in case he didn't have it already. So there's a lot that could have happened due to that Hope Hollow trigger. Because, what I would still be worrying about is a Wrath of Gilda. And I'd be wondering, hey, maybe Cheese hasn't played Wrath of Gilda because he hasn't seen a motivational speech yet, for example. Now, I think what we know is he has both of those in his hand. So Cheese is just deciding that isn't the best course of action. But it's still what I would have been worried about. So I might have misread that Hope Hollow.
Okay.
Yeah.
End of turn. Discard this man to hand limit.
Okay.
So Cheese has Flurry and Spike and Gabby out. The only two friends that really matter.
4 action tokens.
One thing that's worth noting here is that Instagram hit Big Mac with unsatisfactory work. That Big Mac has just been in Cheese's hand the whole time. It's not like the Big Mac went away. It's just Cheese never wanted it again, which just kind of hurts because that means that the unsatisfactory work was not very painful.
Corralling critters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, he's probably saving it for when for when Instagram tries to play a cheeky resource. Like,
Right.
it looks like he's about to because he just drew a rocket scooter.
Well, Rocket Scooter is
1,
not well countered by Big Mac. Well, with all of this critter generation, the Shoeshine might be worth it again. Now, it might be too expensive this turn, but maybe next turn.
2 for rocket scooter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rocket Scooter,
This is here.
in theory, you could actually do a double with it here. And it's pretty hard for Cheese to counter that.
Pegasus here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the
Does he
issue
ha-
is
does he
Cheese
have
might
the
win
second-
that double.
Go to
Does he have the
speed
second
phase.
shoe shine in hand? Because he hasn't exhausted.
I'm at 11.
Okay.
Okay.
Enter.
I don't
guess not.
think he did have a Shoeshine in hand.
Just a single confront at the dilemma.
Would it be 6? Didn't you have 2?
I had 2 gaining. Oh, we're gaining 5. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's Pegasus Eggs and Rush to Makeover is his whole hand. Okay, I agree with Histogram's decision not to try for the double there, because I think the baby Flurry Heart might have won the double for Big Cheese, which would have been devastating.
It's Flurry against.
Yeah.
Sure. That's a token.
Yeah,
2.
I definitely think I
Ooh,
agree.
it's a belly
These
flop.
Belly flop.
these flips have not been kind to either player this game.
Well, the belly flop there is really quite good because it's back in his hand, and that's Shoeshine insurance.
Pay 1 for white.
Okay.
I think we're gonna start seeing
Is-
some missed mains.
Would he blow up the motivational speech for white?
I don't think it's worth it. I think you'd blow up a speech for blue,
Okay.
but white,
Ah,
you don't have enough gas. You don't have enough Pegasi for that to be worth it.
Okay.
And then pay 2 to move up.
Now maybe you blow up the staff. That this could be a problem if you don't blow up the staff.
We'll pay 1 to stick that.
Okay.
Flipping 2.
He's probably waiting to see if he even needs to, because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to blow. He doesn't want to use all of the friends that he might need later. He'd probably rather not
Winning the face
blow it up preemptively.
Wait, is that extra chaos ability not location specific?
It is not location specific.
Okay, well that implies to me that yeah, he needed to blow up the staff before a staff face off.
I'll I'll go
because this is also allowing Cheese to do a DFO. This is so many chaos effects. Well, so much risk of chaos effects, and so many points for Cheese.
Okay, you're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm at 6, 12, 16. Sorry, plus that.
I'm at 12.
And I'm at, I'm out by 4.
No responses.
Okay.
It's
That'll
really
put-
worrisome because Cheese is still holding one action, and we know he has a belly flop.
Get rid of
Come on,
a
final
token.
question. That's basically the only way Instagram still wins here. Okay, no final question. We've actually seen 0 final questions this whole
I have a
3-game match.
bias.
No, that's not true. I think we saw a couple in the first game.
Draw a card.
Okay. Remember, resolve your stuff in order. Home limit comes after end of turn triggers.
Sure.
with 6 AT and both players at 11 points.
So there's 4 points on board. So Instagram could definitely win here if he gets a second shoe shine. He needs both to be able to push through the belly flop. If he doesn't get a second shoe shine, then the math becomes relatively difficult. But maybe with some dilemma shenanigans, it could still work out.
Draw.
10 minutes remaining, players.
We just got the word that 10 minutes are remaining until hard time.
With points on board to win here, it looks like they'll probably finish just a bit before then. But I suppose it depends on how complicated the math is.
You have 1 action token?
I have 1 action token remaining.
Okay.
All right, Bugle agrees that we saw 1 final question in game 1, but still, for how aggressive these matches, or this whole match has gone, that's very few final questions. It would have been nice to see them a lot earlier. All right, so we've got 1 shoe shine, which, you know, is easily enough to double in the absence of the belly flop. So basically, if Instagram can also double, just honestly, without using the shoe shine, then he can guarantee a win.
Here.
But if he only relies on the shoe shine and forgets about that belly flop again, it could be catastrophe.
Here.
He does still have. Does he still have a rocket scooter? I can't remember what that other resource there is. I think it's
Yeah,
a
I
I
rocket
think he has
scooter.
2.
There's at least
think-
one.
I think the other card there is the Fluttershy and Bulk.
Fluttershy and bulk biceps. You're right.
2.
Oh, boy, oh. 2 rocket
Okay.
scooters. That might be enough to actually do the DFO honestly. Now, the thing is, he shouldn't have done the shoe shine yet, because we know that the shoe shine is the main belly flop target. He should have done the DFO, and then only if the DFO gets stopped, then you do the shoe shine thing. However, as long as he keeps his cool and he retains his ability to use his rocket scooter here,
1.
he can probably win anyway if he has 6 Pegasi on the board. If he only has 5, then he'll lose. But if he has 6, he'll win. And I think he has 6.
Go to score phase.
He does have 6. And it looks like he's going to force him to do it.
Belly flop. And
So who does Big Cheese hit? I think it shouldn't matter, but maybe...
Seashell.
Okay, now, as long as the order of problem confronts works out here, he can use his 6 Pegasi and his 2 rocket scooters, and he can win the game.
Well, he may not even need to, because the Angel, all of those currently have Agile, so that 1 AT he has left can be used to send Angel to the other problem, and then he only needs to do 1 blow up of Rocket Scooter, and he chooses not to do it, surprisingly.
Game 5.
With points on board, that
Sadly,
seems like a tough thing to win through.
Sadly, I think that might have been the
Is your discard pile?
the thing that he needed to do in order to win, because now he's given Cheese an opportunity to refill his hand, get additional tricks. The staff is still there.
Yeah, at minimum, you need to blow up the staff here. You need Big Cheese to not double, which means you need to blow up the staff before he uses it for any face-off shenanigans.
Yeah, and he's just gonna start mismaining stuff back to his hand.
Honestly, mismanning one belly flop is not that great. I mean,
Yeah, but it's
through
the
rocket
threat.
scooters, the single target kill is kind of wimpy.
I think that you do need to absolutely blow up the staff here, because now Big Cheese doesn't have enough AT to bring another face-off trick. He still has the Flurry Heart, but I mean, there's only so much you can do with 1 AT remaining.
Well, so what I'm seeing here is Big Cheese did not think he could win this turn, so he's just trying to slow down Instagram, which I don't know how you could slow down Instagram from here. I mean, we saw Instagram could have won last turn, which means he could win this turn too.
I will. Okay, so I'm gonna.
Well, hasty vexing, that could help. Yikes.
Flurry.
Actually, he didn't take that Discord. I'm not sure what card he did take into his hand.
Unfortunately, did not see it either.
Maybe he needed purple for that to play it.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough actions to enter into purple and play it.
I believe the score is still 13 to 12. Instagram being at 12. Cheese. Actually, no, I think the score is 12 to 12.
That 118.
So, Cheese is still not quite enough to confront up there, but he could easily just move Skystar up. But does he want to put himself at 0 AT for
So-
Instagram's next turn?
We got an interesting read from Bugle here. I personally was baffled by how Cheese decided to play this turn, holding the belly flop, but
So in a
Bugle is
face-off,
hypothesizing that
5.
Instagram has shown that he's not willing to use those rocket scooters as an aggressive trick, maybe because he just isn't thinking of it or he doesn't know that they can do that. And Cheese is betting on that trend to continue, that Instagram once again will not use the rocket scooters. If Instagram doesn't use the rocket scooters, then belly flop is a great trick and might win him the game. So it really comes down to, does Instagram know to do that?
And it looks like he is going to go ahead and move Skystar up. He is going to try to close the game out here because he knows that Instagram can just do that himself next turn.
This is a big risk, but it didn't.
7 flip.
You got it.
Yeah.
Have any-
Instagram did not do any counterplay to prevent it,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
that's just the game.
Unfortunate, but it sometimes happens that way.
Congratulations.
Well played.
I did not deserve to win that game.
I mean, even if those last two turns Instagram had played optimally, Big Cheese might still have been able to
Oh my
take
God.
that.
Yeah, if
Big
he had
Cheese
I
was
like,
in a
shooting passing
fairly
turns or
strong
something, so I
position.
had
Yeah,
lots of
I mean, he
room.
could have blown up
No.
staff, and then
I saw you holding onto the wrap.
Yeah.
for all that game, and I was surprised when you played the Flurry Heart instead. I thought you were about
it
to
is
about having
both
to-
players definitely accomplished a lot by getting this far.
I
So
thought about it
despite
hard, but, like,
plays that we may have questioned,
Very, very close.
these are two very strong players playing very strong decks.
On making it to the finals.
And
Yeah, I
congrats to both of them, Big Cheese and Instagram, for making it this far.
Certainly plenty of reason for Big Cheese to be happy, but no good reason for Instagram to be sad. Coming in second here is still a great accomplishment.
3 Chaos Magic Blasts hit Vapor Trail in improbable odds.
And are we going to see some championship mats?
Okay, but I also my entire
Ara
card
has
was
to dig it
defined by
out
luck.
first.
Against Pages, I
You played a
flipped
Chaos deck. That's how it's supposed to be.
I flipped 2 with your Slipperfest out. And it's like he had a really strong board and like lots of protection, and it was just like, well, for dismissal, I can't really
With not the other one.
Not so much. I'm actually back.
diplomatic.
On the way to the hotel
Whatever.
after dropping
Yeah.
stuff off.
They just finished. If you weren't able to listen in.
Good on stream, by the way.
Nope, I heard it.
All has
That's
to
a
validate.
GG. Congratulations to both players for me here.
Yeah, congratulations to Big Cheese, and what a
It's
great
the
job by
design.
Instagram to
That
get
one's
this
easy.
far.
Okay, that one's fine.
Yeah, he
Also-
brought a really good deck for this meta. It's a deck that a lot of folks believed in,
Those codes are all
and
covered real
he's
quick.
the only person that actually
so
brought
my
a
card
Stunning Wonder to
is
this tournament. And he showed that Stunning Wonder is a great deck
No,
right now.
That's the one that got revealed.
That's fine, but we know who it is. You're good.
Yeah. I
And
will
no
also actually
Wrath of
give you-
Gildas that third game.
I'll give you both of these.
Yeah, true.
No,
I
it's
think
just
he
one.
probably just decided it wasn't
Oh,
worth
sure,
it.
Sure.
And lots of still present.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Once
It's
that
so
Shushan came out
expensive.
and ate
I'm
up
good, Paxa.
all of Instagram's board, the only thing that she's needed to kill anymore was the Shushan, which he did.
All right, if I can have everyone hang around here for a bit while the commentators wrap this up, we will do endgame interviews with players.
Sure, I can break out my phone.
If you don't mind. That would be
Yeah, Cheese, break out your phone and then unlock it on stream for all of us to read your password, please.
And hold your fingerprint up to the
I
camera.
would encourage you both to watch the stream as well, as there is probably some great commentary going on there on the recorded games, as well as some feedback from chat, so you can see exactly what everyone was watching and discussing.
Yep.
And Bugle using it as a tracking of every individual action that happened in the entire game.
They didn't have the.
Was that the comment? The text chat?
They didn't
I think I have that same dongle.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we might not have set up the thing.
They were visible, but you know,
It's hard to read them sometimes.
Yeah, the sim overlay wasn't working. We couldn't figure out why. It's all good.
Just because of time.
It was close, yeah. It was very, very close. There was a real danger of sudden death, actually.
That entire game, I was like, I'm gonna lose this one.
You should have.
I really should have, actually.
You should have.
So we're gonna do some interviews here with the winner and
I'll
This
probably
is the second time I've handed off.
probably
this
get
thing.
some interview with Instagram as well, if he's willing.
No, I handed it to you when I won. I won this
Oh
year.
yeah.
I'll probably try to come up with something in white.
In white.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, Instagram likes playing white. I support
it
this.
sounds-
Actually capable.
And it sounds like Instagram will get the create a card or design a card, however you want to say it.
Oh yeah.
Yep. You might want to mute the audio because I'm on. I'm talking mumble now.
Yep. You might want to mute the audio because I'm on.
Done.
So, how'd it go?
You tell
Commentating.
us.
All those games. I guess it was all three. Went well, I guess. I feel like I got very lucky this entire tournament.
Almost 2 hours at the end.
Yeah, I think there was like 30. By the time we wrapped up, maybe a minute left.
Yeah,
Wow.
you squeaked by at the very end there. How do you feel now that you can retire the 2016 mat?
I don't know. It's nice to win.
You heard it here first, folks.
Well, do you think that there would be any changes to that Skystar Orange White deck now that you've had a chance to play a full tournament with it?
Tantibus does not belong in the deck.
Oh wow, yeah, we never saw Tantibus get played, or flipped even. Actually, we saw one flip that you did not end up using.
Actually, Grandpa's makes a point, is that Tantibus has been in decks that I've won Continentals with. But yeah, it's the deck is weak against aggro. If you get lucky and you get all your removal at the right times, and you flip the right things, and everything goes perfectly, and you hit Vapor Trail 3 times with Chaos Magic Blast, when there's like 6 things on the field, then yes, things go well. But like, I don't know what other changes can be made here.
So
What
in
do you
that,
think goes in place? Oh, sorry, Animoy, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say in that third game, it seems like you didn't get any pinky senses.
Nope. I one or two. I did not see any. I did not draw any. I had 2 tender taps in hand, but no pinky sense.
All right, I have to know how you came upon the idea of a chaos control that doesn't use troublemakers, because that is just very against the grain of typical thinking.
It definitely is. Skystar, like, and stick, she can kind of sort of aggro. And see, the thing is that you can like stop a double confront and then go and have a face off at one of the problems. Like, it's not great not having troublemakers. Like, sometimes you just get blown through. But it's just the amount of removal you have kind of stops things, and you're happy to have face offs and have problems flip and stuff.
We definitely were surprised at how quickly you ran through most of this game, so that definitely shone through.
Yeah.
Do you think that do you think that in an aggro matchup, it's the best call to try to out aggro them in the early game, like it seems you were doing?
So in the second game, I actually held off from double confronting because Fluttershy kind of sort of likes that, but it's who gets the 3 points. Do I get it, or does my opponent get 3, 4, 5 points because they played some extra cards? So I definitely think it's worth it to aggro. Like, the only deck that you want to hold off at all against is, or the only main is Fluttershy.
Makes sense. Because sometimes you would rather them have to spend things to flip their main instead of you flipping it for them.
Exactly.
Also, certainly that risk of final questions, just the fewer final questions that you show up for them is much better.
Yeah, definitely.
So, do you think that we're gonna see a lot more control now that we've seen it win a Continentals, despite control being typically unfavored in previous events? Or do you think we're still gonna see aggro continue to be the dominant archetype?
I think we're gonna see more Fluttershy aggro, Fluttershy blue aggro. Like, it kind of dominates. I was lucky to win these games. Is how I say it. Like, I did everything I could to increase my chances, but
ultimately, you really just aren't favored here. It was Lady Luck that pushed you to victory.
yeah.
Well, luck is a factor here. You can tailor your deck as much as possible to increase your chances of getting the cards you need, but sometimes just doesn't work out for you.
Yep. Okay. You want to talk to Instagram?
Yeah, let's get Instagram on here so we can sing the praises of aggro.
Okay.
So
We're working on. Yeah, we're working on getting headphones switched out. It'll take a
No
sec.
worries. Not an issue. Yeah. I think the last time, eminently, the deck you won Continentals with, you would consider that aggro, wouldn't you?
I would. A lot of people didn't, but I did. I thought it was an aggro deck. It had to play up against a lot of farm and control that year, so it never ran too fast. But it was the type of deck that liked to win by turn 8 or so.
Yeah, I think this is the farthest we've seen aggro go since then. And it looks like we have Instagram on the mic now. How do you feel, Instagram? Second place.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, now I hear you.
Okay, yeah. Well, pretty excited because I never expected to get this far. Because usually, this is my first time even making the cut. And usually I go into these things thinking, well, maybe making the cut is the best I could hope for, but getting all the way to second.
Yeah, you actually won 2 best-of-3 matches, and we got to watch one of them on stream. Pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, and there were a few matches where I just drew good, and that put me over the edge. I might not have won otherwise, but that's kind of how the game goes, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say the biggest card that you wanted to see on any given turn was? Because I would think it's Shoeshine, but I just want to know your input.
Shoeshine is definitely up there, but because of the dilemmas, I actually like Vapor Trail.
Okay, sure. I know we've been talking a bit about how devastating it was that Chaos Magic Blast kept hitting Vapor Trail in those games.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it also depends upon who I'm playing against, because Shoeshine is such a target.
Right, yeah. Big Cheese's strategy of getting belly flaps back with Mistmane towards the end of the game to turn off Shoeshine seemed to be very effective because of Shoeshine being such a target.
Yeah.
Was this the same deck you played in Europe? And if yes, were there any changes?
It was the same deck I played in Europe, which was not observed by anyone but Smithers, but there were a few changes, and really, an interesting story was after I was in Europe, after Galacon, I continued touring Europe, but I didn't want to carry my deck and stuff around, so I mailed it home, and it didn't arrive home until just this last Saturday.
That would be a scary feeling.
Yeah. 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 It was. I was on the verge of asking someone to make a deck for me. But it showed up, and I did make. And you may recall that Smithers did beat me that one when I played him in Europe, but there were 3 changes I made. One, and the most important one was at the time I went to Europe, I couldn't find all of my entire playset of bunyips. So instead I had 1 bunyip and 2 daybreakers.
Oh yeah, Bunyip is a lot better of a fit here for sure.
Yeah, and the other change I made was after Europe, I had like 1 other motivational speech in there, and I subbed it out for unsatisfactory work to make a playset of those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think you ended up having any entry problems, so it seems like that was a good call.
Right, yeah. In fact, sometimes I felt like I was getting a little too much entry, but against Cheese in that last match, it's like he kept getting rid of my blue, and I kept having 1 more entry card when I needed it.
Are there any cards that you think you would put in the deck now after this event?
I'd have to think about what additional cards I'd need. I can think of a few that could possibly go, though. Yeah, just have to think about it some more. The Wonderbolt's Runway is kind of a vanity card for me, but it's probably not that competitive.
I think Wonderbolt's Runway was a create a card.
It was a created card. That was Johnny back in 2015.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it does work for me, but it didn't help in, I guess, Cheese because you usually had a Big Mac out.
Yeah, we never actually saw it get played on stream.
Yeah, a few other changes, but other are probably possible. But I think it was a pretty solid deck. That's why when I was trying to think of what to bring, I was like, any other deck I'd bring, I wouldn't probably have enough time to come up with something as solid as that.
Yeah, play what you know. There's nothing wrong with that, and it clearly worked out for you, so you made the right call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, definitely congrats on bringing aggro as far as you did. I'm sure a lot of people are glad to see aggro still in it, even in the tier 3 environment.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And it looks like Cheese dropped his champion, Matt. This is your perfect opportunity to swipe it and run.
Well, I
Just
have my own
run,
now.
take it.
Also, he's standing right there.
Yeah, but he has a bag in front of him. You have the perfect chance.
We'll distract him.
Will be the distracted lead actress now.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, it gets intense at the end trying to remember all the triggers.
Oh yes, it is. I think Ivory and I have both been at these Continentals, and I'm sure Animo, you've been to a number of Continentals as well, where the nerves just really start to get to you.
Yeah, and you've been doing it for so long that even though you know it, your brain just forgets to do the thing it's supposed to do and remember everything in the moment.
Yeah, even with aggro decks, which you might think of as simple, the number of mistakes that you can limit your play to, like, it's never going to be 0, and it's all about just making sure you do the best you can.
Yeah. And right. And it kind of helps that the judges are watching you like a hawk, and it kind of like intimidates you.
Yeah, I mean, when you can't walk back a trigger even by like 2 priority windows, it can be a bummer.
Yeah, and when we talk on stream, we get to see both hands, so it's a lot easier for us than it is for the players.
Yeah, we have a lot of information, and we're accountable to no one. If we throw out a really dumb suggestion, it doesn't lose us the game.
It just loses us credibility because everyone's listening to us.
That's okay, I had none to begin with.
Well, I think we are getting to the point where they're starting to pack up.
Is that it? Is that Continentals?
That is Continentals.
Fantastic. I mean, a good Continentals it was.
Yeah. And thanks again, Instagram, for coming on and sharing stuff with us. It was definitely great watching your games, and congrats again for making it to second place.
Thank you.
I absolutely look forward to more Fluttershy.
There will always be more Fluttershy.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not usually at Continentals. I'd play something white. This seemed to work out well enough.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope that white is actually good next year, and then you can win with a white deck.
Yeah.
Well, I know that I for sure am going to continue playing yellow-blue.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Are you going to put Grogar in it?
Probably not into a yellow-blue.
Just a mono-yellow.
Always the mono-yellow.
What about you, Animoy? I know you've been favoring a lot of control lately. Are you gonna stick to your guns, or are you gonna give yellow blue a try?
No, I'm probably gonna keep trying to make white purple work, and I feel like I'm tilting at windmills sometimes.
Is anybody interested in giving this chaotic control type of deck a shot? I'm very intrigued by it, I must say.
It's a good tech that happy trees and tender taps and baby flurry heart is a good mix. Vexing to retire happy trees or bodyguard to retire happy trees and get it back into discard.
Those happy trees shenanigans are just so intense.
We'll need to get a big poster made of just hundreds of copies of Happy Trees and put it on the door of Jesus' house.
That would be like just the least chill Bob Ross thing to ever happen.
Just to remind him.
I'm here. What am I supposed to do?
Hi, Ara.
Hi, I'm very cute.
We need a poster of hundreds of Discord happy trees, and we need to put it all over Big Cheese's home. Maybe like where he sleeps, maybe in his car.
We'll actually just get him a custom car made that is a molded version of the Happy Trees artwork.
I'm sure we can get somebody to do a wrap it.
No, I want a fully custom car built in the factory, already in the shape of it. I'm sure that someone won't think we're just trolling them when we ask for that.
Probably not the weirdest thing they've seen.
Happy Trees plush win.
Don't tempt him. He'll do it. He'll send messages to every plush maker.
The hair would add so much cost.
But I think that's going to bring us to the close of this Continentals and Everfree Northwest 2022 stream. I don't know who we have around the table currently, but I'll take this opportunity to say that we want to thank everyone who's watching the stream now and who plans on watching the recordings in a little over a week once we get them up on our YouTube channel. I know the VODs will be available immediately, so you can always watch those directly on Twitch if you see fit. And I also want to thank everyone who contributes to Commentaries Magic's Patreon. It definitely helps us continue to stream and make content that related to the MLP CCG for everyone to enjoy. We enjoy it, and we want to make sure everyone else enjoys it. And I also want to thank Animoy and Eminently Sensible for commentating all day yesterday and for continuing to commentate into these top cuts.
Yeah, certainly glad to be here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you both. I think we're gonna close stuff down on the floor, and we'll see you probably in about a week for the recap.
Buy some apples.
There will definitely be a recap. In the meantime, we have been Commentary is Magic. Screaming into the void from my headset, I'm Ivory Starlight.
I'm an eminently sensible.
And Dynamo.